but I will be incommunicado with you. So until next time.
Hey, and welcome to a Thursday edition of Collection Connection. Now on Friday, because I forgot to charge up my camera's battery before I tried to film yesterday. Anyway, Collection Connection, the game is just an excuse to talk about music. Or on his last play, I should say, Eric gave me the psychedelic sounds of the 13th floor elevators. And I have one of those songs that was featured on the Nuggets compilation. You Will Miss Me, I think it's called. And listen to that, it's a lot heavier than I would have imagined. But I went for an easy connection this time. I decided as soon as he held up the cover, it made me think of something. And that's because the cover had the image of an eye on it. And I thought of another album that had an interpretation of an eye on the cover. And that album is Robin Hitchcock's Eye. There you go. So, I'm a big Robin Hitchcock fan. And this, funnily enough, is one of the few albums that I own both on CD and vinyl. I don't collect vinyl, but I have a handful of LPs from when no one was buying them that I use as decor. So it's actually hanging on the wall in my basement, my vinyl copy of I. It is his, maybe sixth album. He was in the midst of, it's from 1990, he was in the midst of his major label stint with A&M during this time. After releasing a handful of records, he started releasing music with the Egyptians, his backing band. And so Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians released Globe of Frogs and then Queen Elvis. And then this album, I came out, but it's not with the Egyptians, and it's very much a Robin Hitchcock album. There's no percussion on it unless you count, I think there's maybe some guitar thumping on the song Satellite. But there's no percussion, it's just guitar, piano, and Robin. And it's something he's done before with I Often Dream of Trains. But I think this was non-commercial sounding enough that A&M let him release it, but maybe didn't want to count it as one of the albums that he owed them. So it was released on a couple of independent labels, Twin Tone, I think, for the CD release, and Glass Fish for the vinyl release. And it's a great album. It's his solo work, like solo work, it still carries the hallmarks of the absurdism that runs rampant kind of through his lyrics. But it really kind of brings it down into something a little more solemn. And for something that is as potentially silly as Robin Hitchcock songs often are, there's some moments like Glass Hotel is a song that legitimately moves me when I hear it. It's a beautiful song. And the instrumental Chinese Water Python, just a solo guitar instrumental. It's very stately and composed, and that moves me too. But there's also silly songs like Certainly Clicko, which really is rampant silliness. And I think Robin Hitchcock's has suffered in the long term. It was kind of a bizarre experiment also in the 80s when those college radio staples like REM stuff started getting signed by major labels. It seemed like the most commercial ones had started to be snapped up, and Robin Hitchcock got his chance around 1987 or so when Globe of Frogs came out. And he never really hit it. Balloon Man, his very first single for A&M, it was about as much traction as he got. And although his 90s albums with the Egyptians um, got a little more, I wouldn't say commercial sounding, but polished and maybe a little less weird, overtly weird. Um, but they never really caught on, so he didn't stay on A&M past about 5 albums. But this was a kind of out of time release. From that, I think he made the cover himself. I know he's designed. I couldn't find, there's not a lot of info on the album, but I know he has painted and drawn a number of his own album covers. He is an artist as well. But yeah, I've seen him live a bunch of times, and I've got a whole stack load of Robin Hitchcock. I got 30 plus Robin Hitchcock releases, and his last one, which was bizarrely eponymous. It seems bizarre to wait 40 years into your career, because he'd been with the Soft Boys and with the Egyptians and solo, to finally name an album just Robin Hitchcock. That was in 2017, and he has not released an album since, and I think that's the longest period since he got started in the late 70s with the Soft Boys that he has not put out an album. Neither here nor there, just filling up my time. And yeah, so Robin Hitchcock's Eye, it's a great little record. It's definitely from my heyday of Robin Hitchcock fandom. And I will throw it back to you, Eric. Oh, wait, no, I got a challenge for you. I have given out the information to connect this album to Queen's News of the World. And I wanted to throw out as a challenge to Eric or anybody else, if you can tell me what the connection is between Robin Hitchcock's Eye, and Queen's News of the World. So, little bonus challenge for you. And that's all I have. Eric will be back on Monday with his response. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.